Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Theological Leftovers. Today truly is a theological leftover. I have been doing all kinds of things with you, but I am back this week with one of those conundrums that actually was the reason why I started doing these videos. And the conundrum is this, I have an Old Testament reading and a gospel reading that fit together really, really well, and I want to preach on, And then I have an epistle reading that fits really well with all the propers of the day, on a topic that I really, really love. And I'm not going to preach on that. So what do? I create a video, right? If you want to hear about Genesis 28, this is where Jacob has the dream of the ladder. And you want to hear about Matthew 9, the healing of the paralytic, and how those two things beautifully fit together, then come on Sunday, 10:30, divine service. That'll be what I'm preaching on. Today, though, I want to look at Ephesians chapter 4, just part of our text, Ephesians chapter 4, starting at verse 25. Paul writes, "Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and give no opportunity to the devil." So, therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. So, put away falsehood. This is all about the tongue, right? Put away the false things. Don't speak falsehood. Instead, speak what? The opposite of falsehood? Truth. Speak truth, right? And why do we do that? Why do we speak truth? Because we are members one of another. Okay. Well, what I want to do is, that's pretty straightforward. What I want to do is I want to turn over. If you're curious what I'm looking at in our bulletin, we have this, which is the readings that are assigned for the one-year lectionary that we use for the 19th Sunday after Trinity. And so the readings are on one side, and then on the other side, you'll have our introit or psalm for the day that we chant. And then there's a collect or a prayer for the day. There's what's called a gradual, which is, again, comes from the Psalms. And then there's another psalm, which is called the verse for the day. We don't even use all these things every Sunday here at Concordia, but I use them. I look at them and consider them when I'm doing the study in preparation for the service. And so I was really impressed how all these psalms from the introit, from the gradual, and from the verse, which includes Psalm 35, Psalm 78, Psalm 141, and Psalm 98, are all wrapped up on this side of the insert, and how wonderfully they fit together with this call from the Apostle Paul. Put away falsehood. Speak the truth with your neighbor, for we are members of one another. I want to talk about not so much the putting away the falsehood as the speaking the truth. You know, this is something that I enjoy talking about, conversation, how to speak the truth in love. And so looking at these psalms for the day, I noticed 4, you could almost say 5, but I'm going to say 4 different ways in which we speak the truth as Christians, right? In Psalm 35, the part of verse 3, the psalmist says, "Say to my soul," so he's talking to himself here, "say to my soul, I am your salvation. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears." This is a common thing in the Psalms where the psalmist has to talk to his own soul, because what he's feeling isn't true. And so he has to address his own soul with God's word, right? He's asking really God's word to speak to his soul. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. So this is the very first example of who we need to speak the truth to. We need to speak the truth to ourselves because we are easily deceived. Our feelings often get the best of us. So we need to speak God's word to our own souls, right? So that's the first example of speaking the truth. The fourth way that truth is spoken, or the second way that truth is spoken is, again, in this case, it's Psalm 78. It's not listed here, so I'm not exactly sure what verse, but he says this: I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings from of old, things that we have heard and known, that our fathers have told us. Now, there's two things there, but I want to focus here on the one, the things that our fathers have told us, right? So this isn't just talking about my biological father, even hopefully it is, but it's talking about all those spiritual fathers, all those that have put away falsehood and spoken the truth in the past. Those words I once spoken to me, right? So I'm praying in the very beginning of this. I'm not praying, but I am speaking God's word to my soul, and here I am looking for the great cloud of witnesses, right? The ancestors who, not just because they're ancestors, that doesn't mean anything, but the ancestors who are faithful to God's word, who are faithful witnesses to what God's word proclaims. I want them to speak as well, not just to myself, but to the people around me, right? So I want to speak God's word, and I want to give voice to the great cloud of witnesses and the wonderful things that they have said. So this is the other thing that we speak. The second way that we speak truth. Okay, we have heard, and so then we speak. That's number 3. Right after it says, "I will utter dark sayings from of old, things that we have heard and known, that our fathers have told us." Number 3, we will tell the coming generation the glorious deeds of the Lord and his might and the wonders that he has done. So my soul has been spoken to by God's word. I have heard what the faithful cloud of witnesses, the faithful fathers have said from years gone by, that point me to God's word. And now that I have heard the truth spoken to me, I will speak the truth to the next generation. I will tell them about the glorious deeds of the Lord. I will tell them about the wonders that he has done, right? This just makes sense, right? But this is how truth, this is how truth is used. This is the purpose of our language, right? To speak God's word to ourselves, to listen to the faithful witnesses, and then to tell the coming generation. And then there's a fourth, and you can make this fourth and fifth if you really want to. In our gradual, it's Psalm 141, and it says, "O Lord, I call upon you, hasten to me, give ear to my voice, and I call to you. Let my prayer be counted as incense before you, and the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice." So the other speaking that's talked about here is prayer, right? I speak God's word to my soul. I listen to the fathers, the great cloud of witnesses. I tell the coming generation. I speak about God's glorious deeds and the wonders that he has done. And the other way that I use my words is in prayer. And we're going to add to that, the verse for the day is Psalm 98:1. "Sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done marvelous things. I will pray and I will praise." I will pray to God and I will give praise to God, which goes right along with telling the coming generation, right? I'm not going to keep what I have heard to myself. I'm not just going to speak it to myself. I'm going to speak it to the people around me, especially to my children and my grandchildren, right? The next generation. I don't have grandchildren, by the way, but when I do, speak it to them, right? I'll speak it to them, right? So all the way back to the beginning, quick review, just in case I haven't been clear. Paul said, "Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another." There are 4 ways truth is spoken. Speak it to my soul, God's word. I read God's word. I meditate on God's word. I speak it to myself. I listen to what has been spoken, the faithful witnesses, those who give witness to what God's word says and have faithfully done that throughout the years. I listen to their words that have been spoken, and then I take all of that together, all of that great stuff, and I tell it to the coming generation. In addition to that, I take the truth and I speak it back to God. What God has said, I speak it back to him. What he has promised, based on those promises, I pray to him. And I also give praise to him because of his wonderful word, because of the law that he has given me, the gospel that he has shared with me, all of these wonderful promises. And I praise it not only in thanksgiving to God, but also so that the people around me will come to know how great God really is. These are 4 ways that we put aside falsehood and we speak the truth with our neighbor. Hopefully you'll find that helpful. Again, the main text was Ephesians chapter 4, and then a variety of Psalms. The bulk of it was either Psalm 78 or Psalm 141, if you want to take a look at those. Before I let you go, I want to say October 19th, 2024 is our Life Together workshop. And we have really, really good, we have 4 speakers coming, and they're all just top-notch speakers. And what they're going to be talking about is the congregation and the family and the stuff that gets between those 2 things. In fact, we're even going to talk about the stuff that sometimes not only family creates that gets between them and church, but the stuff that church creates, that the congregation creates that really gets between them and family. And that may sound weird to you, but trust me, it happens all the time. And so we're going to talk about that sort of stuff. Like I said, we have some really, really outstanding speakers. In addition to that, breakfast, lunch, it's all going to be provided. There is a registration fee unless you are college age, and then we just want you to come. No cost to you if you're college age. So if October 19th from 9 to approximately 3 in the afternoon, if you can only come for part of it, come for part of it. If you're anywhere near Evansville, it is going to be worth the trip. If you're within a day trip of Evansville, you should be at Concordia on October 19th because it's really going to be that good. We have space. We could have as many as 75 people. Right now, we're just under 50 people. So we have plenty of room, and it's not too late. If you've seen the registration stuff and the registration looks like it's passed, well, it would have been nice if we could have filled everything up before the registration deadline, but we haven't. So the doors are still open unless we miraculously reach that magic number of 75 people. That's about as much as we can take care of having everything that we want to do. So please consider coming. If you already signed up, consider who you can invite, because we really want to get as many people here for this great event. And by the way, October 18th, 2025 might be our last Life Together workshop. It very well could be. And I've already got a theme. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is going to be awesome. So you might as well put October 18th, 2025 on your calendar. And then it doesn't even matter if it's a day trip. You got a whole year to plan out how to get here. You should get here because it's going to be awesome. I'll tell you more about that after we get through the first batch of awesomeness. All right. God bless you all. God bless your week.